So let's go ahead and get started for today. If you don't know me, my name is Lisa Vo. I am one of the founders at Real Estate Coaching Collective. We are a free online community and we help users with Follow Boss, real estate, basically any kind of tech stack questions you may have to basically make your process, your operations, your sales, your marketing just better and faster. So today, we're going to be talking about a really nice topic that a lot of people kind of ask me about. We are a TC company, so that's what we do as our day-to-day. We also build out TC systems for people. That's what me and my company does. But today, we're talking about how to create a Follow Boss sales tracker using Zapier. So this is almost a free tool, kind of. A couple of things that you're going to need in your toolbox. One, obviously, you need a Follow Boss account. So that would be number one. Number two, you're going to need a Zapier account, and you can get started with just a free Zapier account. But in order for you to publish this, make this active, have this actually running in the background, you're going to need to upgrade your Zapier account to the next level plan. That's going to be about $20 a month as of today's date. I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, but just so you know, you'll need a paid Zapier account that does multiple steps that will allow you to do the Zapier flow. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through and share my screen. So give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and share my screen. For some reason we cannot see it, just let me know so I can reshare the screen. So I'll go ahead and move forward with the rest of the demo. So I'm inside of my accounts right now. First of all, I have a Google Sheet up and running. So I forgot that's actually the third tool that you'll need. So you'll actually need a Google Workspace account. This is through Google Sheets, which is free through my Google Workspace. That you could possibly do this through Excel, but you may need a couple of different other apps from it. So we're going to go with this flow for today. First thing you're going to do is go open up a Google Sheets. And that's I just renamed this as a free Follow Boss sales tracker. So that's what I named the sheet. We'll go ahead and also add this to the homework section, the guides. So you can download this for free. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But this is how I set up my Follow Boss sheet. So first thing I want is the name of the Follow Boss deal. So if you're familiar with Follow Boss, every single time you have a new deal, you can actually go, let me see if I can show you what that looks like inside my Follow Boss account. Inside of here, you should be able to see who the contact is. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see the deals section. So deals is where you should be keeping track of your listings, your rentals, any closings, contract to close that you have. That's what we consider a deal, right? So this is the name of the deal. I normally will pull it straight in there. This is the stage that that deal is in. So this would be the deal stage. Usually I track who the TC is on this one. So we call that the actual Follow Boss user on the account. So I named this as TC. The price, which is the price of the listing or the price of the contract, the sales price is what we call it, right? Or the list price, that should go there. The agent that is assigned or handling the listing or the deal, when the projected close date is, the agent commission, and the team commission. Now, what we're trying to do is basically all this information right here is what I'm trying to pull over from Follow Boss, extract that, sync that over to our Google Sheets. This is what I'm using to keep track of our sales and our deals, okay? So that's number one. You wanna set up the Follow Boss account. That is already all there. You don't need to do anything there, but make sure you're using the deal section. Then create this Google Sheet tracker, right? You can label this however you want to. I just made it very simple for this demo. Number three is we want to go into Zapier. So this is a free Zapier account, so I know you can build this out for free. I went ahead and built out one just as a test, but I'll walk you through how I normally just create the Zap. So you can just start with create a Zap here, or you can create this button. Right now I'm inside of my folders because I have a demos folder. So let me go ahead and create this and walk you through what that looks like. We're going to create a new Zap. So let's click on that. Couple things that you can do. If you haven't used the Copilot, which is in beta, it's almost like an AI for Zapier. Let's say we want to create, anytime a new Follow Boss deal comes in, I want to add it to my Google Sheets. Literally, that's what we call natural language, right? You giving instruction to like your 5-year-old is how I would treat the Copilot. This is called prompting. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in here so you can see what it looks like. When a new Follow Boss deal is added, then add it to my Google Sheets, right? So if you don't know where to start with Zapier, you're brand new to it, this is a really cool way to do that. Use that co-pilot to your advantage. It is part of the free plan. You do run out at some point because, you know, free is very limited for that. But this is literally walk you through the different steps. You could either create your step-by-step. I can add the trigger, select what I want it to do. But as you can see, this can automate it right here for you and just say, add all these steps. So click on that button, is going to go ahead and automatically add it in there for you. So that should save you a bunch of time. All right. You can also keep talking over here on the left-hand side, and it'll say they've selected Follow Boss account for you, number 2, because that's the one I normally use. They also, in step number 1, added a new deal. If you want a different account, then select a different account, right? So I'm going to walk you through what that looks like. So here, Follow Boss is the first event. So I'm going to pull from Follow Boss. The trigger, basically the kickstart the automation, is anytime a new Follow Boss deal is added, and this is pulling from my account, I want it to go ahead and do something. So other thing with Zapier is you always want to test this trigger. Make sure that it's actually pulling correctly. So click that test trigger. It actually skipped through it, but this is one I was working on earlier, 9916 stencil. So remember we had created like the deal name. We had talked about the status of it, the price of it, right? The projected close date. All of those are fields that are pulling in from our Follow Boss account. You could also, this is a little bit more advanced, but let's say you have deals custom fields set up as well. Let's say you wanted to put like the property address, or you want to put like the team split, like 50-50. You could do all of that with custom fields. We're not going to go into all of that. That's a whole other section, like can be a whole other webinar itself. But I'm going to go ahead and test and use that information as my test. So I'm going to continue with that. Now I'm going to move forward and I'm going to update this because it's pulled through the wrong app, but this is going to pull from my Google Sheets, right? So now it's going for Follow Boss. I'm going to sync it over to my Google Sheets. I wanted to create a new row every single time a new deal happens. So this is pulling from my Google Sheets account, right? Then I'm going to go configure it. I'm going to tell it where to find this. So this is on my Google Drive. I'm going to pull the sheet. This is going to be the free FUB Sales Tracker. That's what I named it. And then it's going to ask you which worksheet is pulling off of. I only have one, but if you have multiple, you can like tell it where you want it to pull from. Okay, so great. Now we want to go in what we call mapping the fields, right? This is basically how does it know to pull that information from Follow Boss and match it to my Google Sheets, right? So remember, I had named it name, stage, TC, price, agent, right? So forth, so forth. I'm going to tell it what information to put in there. So what it's going to do is take that, remember that record that we had pulled from the Follow Boss test deal? This is going to pull that from that information, right? So I'm going to match up the fields, what we call mapping. So the name of the deal is right here. So pop it in, add it, and there it goes. So it's going to basically sync that information from Follow Boss over to the name field in my Google Sheets. Second thing is the stage, right? So I have this deal stage right here, which is TC pending. That's what I call it. And then here is the username. The TC is whoever my user is. This is my admin, Carla. The price, again, I'm going to go through here, type in price. Agent is, there you go, my friend Benjamin. And projected close date, you can go here. So one thing you can also do is just type it in and search for it. There you go, projected date. Here's the agent commission. So I'm going to look for commission. There you go. And then same thing with the commission there. Now, that's the basics that I need just to get started. I'm going to go and hit continue. And this is where it's going to pull. So it's going to pull into that spreadsheet. They have a specific ID for the spreadsheet. It's going to pull in all this information for me. And if I test this step, it should automatically add it to my Google Sheet. So let's test that step. It's running. And it says it is green. It is good. So I'm going to take a look at my sheet and voila, there it is. So that's the information that pulled over. There's my deal name right there. There's my stage, the projected close date. Now, I will let you know whenever you pull over a Follow Boss projected close date, it pulls it into the UTC, which I forget what it stands for, Universal Time something. So they stamp it in this way. It's like the year, the month, and then the date. plus the hour for whatever reason. So if you want to convert that, it's a little bit more advanced, but you're going to need a step in between these two. You're going to have to go and format that date. So you can format it. You can say, I want to format that date and time. And then you're going to tell it what to do. I'm going to transform basically a formatting, transform that. And you're going to tell it what you want it formatted. So remember we had that closing date, right? And it was that UTC time zone. I want to change that formatting, and you can pick whatever you want. So let's say I just wanted to have this one, right? The month, date, year, right? So I can convert it to that and make that super simple. And then, so I want it I can keep the UTC. I can do that, test the step, and that will automatically convert it. So now this is what's going to be shown if I were to hit continue. Let's go back and test this step again, retest it. It should put it out in the correct projected time. Oh, sorry. You have to go back and reconfigure. So remember we have pulled in the wrong date here. So this projected close date is the original date, right? I now have the formatter, right? So this is my output that I want to format it to. Hit continue. Now, if I retest this step, it should put that projected closing date, right? So if I tested that step, again, these two, it duplicated it because for my original record, but this is how I would want it to show. As I forgot to mute my follow boss. So I don't know where that's ringing. Hopefully you won't be able to hear that in the background, but my follow boss number is ringing, so somebody's calling me. But this is how you would basically create your sales tracker. That is the idea behind it. It's a very simple, basic one. It takes basically all your information. It can format it for you. And then you can also do some extra calculations, right? So let's say I do the TC fee, right? And for every single one of these, it's always going to be like 250. If you know conditional formatting, if you know how to use, if then that inside of formulas, inside of Google Sheets, that's really going to help you with the sales tracker and to be able to do more. You could do things like if the price point is above, I don't know, like 500,000, I want it to turn green, right? You can do those type of things. You could do things like, hey, the projected close date is all in the month of February, right? And I want to separate that out. So you can have like a month to date closing. You could do that as well. I usually rename this sheet to raw data because it's literally just pulling this information over, right? If you go into more like complex things, you can actually build an entire like sales tracker with dashboards and things like that. Let me see if I can actually pull one up for you so you can actually see. Let's take a look at this sales tracker. We have a template that we actually used to build out for people. Nowadays, you have Mavic RE, you have Sisu, you have Clarity Now, you have SoloX is a new one as well. A lot of these tools already integrate directly with Follow Boss. This is a very manual, complex way. Like it takes us a couple of weeks, like anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks to build this out for people. So highly don't recommend this. Also with Zapier, just know that sometimes it can get broken. You do have to resync sometimes. And then also you have duplicate data, meaning remember you saw earlier where I retested the step. What it does is it doesn't go back and it doesn't find like, hey, if I already have 123 Main Street, match it up with that and update the record, right? So you're going to need multiple steps to make sure your data, what we call data integrity, your information is updated and correct. That way it doesn't create duplicates. That's what we kind of find that are issues with this. Now, if you have like a data scientist, a data analyst, like an operations person that's really good with numbers, that's double checking this and triple checking this on a daily basis, that would be fantastic. You don't need those extra fancy tools. You can just use this free system for the most part, except for the paid Zapier per month. But you can actually just go through every single one of these deals, right? And just double check like, hey, this one is the wrong year. This is the wrong month, right? And this is, you can add extra thing like the final sales price whenever you get the settlement statement, right? You can add the different caps for the agents. There's so much that you can do as well. These are manually added by us, the source and the lender. So we don't always are able to extract that because again, remember, this is pulling from the Follow Boss deals. This wouldn't be able to pull from your Follow Boss contacts, which is where your sources are. Now, if you had that inside your deals custom fields, if I had created like a deal custom field lead source, I could be able to pull that in quickly. But then I'm having to track sources in two places, right? The deal source as well as a contact source. For some people, that complex kind of build out is completely necessary, but it really depends on how you want to build your sales tracker. So I will say this is not a one size fits all, but again, like I said, you can look at like your historical numbers. Like we have a worksheet here that tracks it per year, right? Your units, your goals, did we meet it, the number of agents. Then we also have this dashboard. This is literally pulling from all of our different tabs down here. We have it by the month to date, broken out by the lender, month to date, broken out by the source. Then we have the year to date for the entire team, month to date for the entire team. Again, this is this raw data that we pulled exactly what I showed you how to set up. Then we even sorted it, took it a step further. We sorted the raw data, right? Like in chronological closing order, right? Then this dashboard is where we finally get to, like, what is the whole point, right? If you look at the leadership dashboard as well as the reporting dashboard and deals dashboard, you get very similar things as far as like a column and row with numbers that are dynamic, right? But some people, I find some teams and brokerages like to have this on their screen because this moves along with your information. As new deals, new listings get added, as we update the final closing price, final closing date, all of these charts and graphs get updated as well. So this is what we use in our office to track all of our TC deals and listings, right? We're looking at this and, so this is what we're using to track. Now, this is what I use for a good 10 years of my life. I love Google Sheets. I love everything that you can do with it. But I wanted to take a step further and like run really custom reports, right? And I wanted that to be sent out like on a cadence, meaning I wanted like my broker team reports to be emailed on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. That way, when they start their huddles and team meetings on Mondays or Tuesdays or whenever they have it, they'll have all of those real life reports based off of the weekend, right? My agents, sometimes I want them to know like on Fridays at 2 p.m., right? So theirs is a little bit different reporting. Angelina and Brad Pitt both have different reports. So I want them to only see their numbers, not the entire office, not the entire team, not the entire brokerage. So we create like a specific, like just agent reporting just for them. There wasn't an easy way to do this unless you're like running additional like Google Sheet like scripts and automations and stuff to have those emailed out. You might pay an extra fee for it. So once I started with this free system for the past 10 years, over the last couple of years, we migrated over to Airtable. I won't get into that. Again, that's a completely different session, but Airtable will allow you to do a lot of those, what we call low code, no code automations, where you says on Fridays, I want my agents to get this type of reports. They can only see their information, their data. It's view only, so they can't mess up my data and things like that, right? Where you run into Google Sheet issues is you have to like lock this one. This is like what we did, right? We had to lock the source because we didn't want anybody else to mess with our source of truth for our data. But at any time, let's say I go here and accidentally hit the delete button, right? And they had like access for whatever reason, and that person leaves the team, that becomes kind of an issue for us. And so we were finding that we were chasing, permissions inside Google Sheets, and who do we share it with? Who do we not share it with? So Airtable kind of relieves a lot of that for us. But again, you have so many different native integrations inside of Follow Boss that you could partner with, depending on your budget, depending on what you're trying to track, depending on what you're trying to do. And you can even take Google Sheets a little bit further. If you wanted to do something very similar to like Airtable, you could throw this into Looker Studio, which some of my good friends, like shout out to Jeff McGonigal and Jose Samano with Power Real Estate Team. They have a developer on board that has built this really custom dashboard for their team, which is really cool. But you can take literally the Google Sheets, throw it into Looker Studio and things like that. Now, for budget-friendly people who are just starting out, you could also very much go with CTE. I think it's ctebiz.com. Now, they have a Excel spreadsheet that they use that's set up for every solo agent or team or anyone who wants to come on board. They have it on their SharePoint driver. So basically, they make it accessible so you can log in and see your information, update it. It is a manual process. You won't be able to pull information over from Follow Boss or any of your CRMs. So, but for about $20 a month, it's a very robust system and they can build it out for you. So that is another option if you're wanting exploring, different reports and stuff. So that is a 10,000 foot overview of financial reporting, how to build a sales tracker. You have multiple different options. Me and my team can help you through that. And if you want to get this built, I highly recommend taking a look at what you currently have, what you really want to look at as a team leader, as a broker, even as a solo agent. You really should know your number, right? How many pendings do you have? How many closed? I think Follow Boss does a very great job as far as the dashboard and inside of deals reporting. So take a look there, see if you can use that tool on a day-to-day basis. If you really want to get down to the penny and the nitty-gritty, you're going to want to upgrade to your own sales tracker, something like this. Make sure that you have somebody on your team that can manage this on a day-to-day basis, like an ops person or a very good detailed virtual assistant. If you're able to invest into a little bit more of automations and like true reportings, then look at some of the other products that I have. So if you ever need to, they're in the integrations page of Follow Boss. If you don't know where that is, that's going to be inside of your admin section and right here under integrations. So highly recommend this. I think is getting updated quite often, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, a lot of these are going to be found on here. They're vetted, they're approved by Follow Boss, and our team at the RE Real Estate Founders. Real Estate Coaching Collective Founders. A lot of us have used this, tested this out for our own system, our own tools. So at one point we either used it or are still using it, can give you best practices on what to do, what not to do, what it's good for. So at any time, if you're just like, hey, I don't know where to start, I need just to talk to somebody for free, then ping one of us. We can always get on a phone call for 15, 20 minutes, walk you through your tech stack, walk you through what you have currently, give you a strategy of what you could do to improve. And yeah, we're just here to kind of help the community along the way. So I will go ahead and give you back 5 minutes of your time. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you at the next session. This will be recorded. We will upload this to the Facebook group, and we hope you have a great day, and we hope to see you at the next live event. Thank you.